Greetings and salutations. Thanks so much for joining me for today's presentation. Stop Pig Feet Marketing, Discover Living High Off the Hog. My name is Timmy Tai Orshanubi, or Timmy for short, and I am one half of the dynamic duo known as the Digital Marketing Advisors. So you're probably asking yourself, what qualifies me to be able to speak intelligently about digital marketing at a macro level, and why should you listen? Well, we both hold degrees in internet marketing from Full Sail University. So we are by no means self-proclaimed digital marketing gurus who fell out of bed one day and decided to call ourselves experts. And in addition to that, the reverse is also true. Prior to getting our degrees, we both tried every sort of home-based business, info marketing, solopreneur sort of venture that you can imagine. So we have a very unique set of experiences and vantage point that very few people can lay claim to, having been on both sides of that coin. So in tonight's presentation, we are going to define that very provocative title. What exactly do we mean by pig feet marketing? We are going to state some commonly held digital marketing myths. We're going to debunk said myths, and then at the end, give you some very good information about some more resources for continued education. So the phrase living high off the hog dates back to slavery times when slave masters would eat the best parts of the pig, so the bacon, the ham, pork chop, tenderloin, and they will leave the scraps for their slaves. So pig feet, pig ears, chitlins, snout, etc. And if you were wealthy or privileged enough to not have to live off of these nasty bits, then you were said to be living high off the hog. Well, minus the whole slavery thing, the same dynamic still exists in digital marketing today, insofar as you have a group of individuals living high off the digital marketing hog with regards to the caliber and timeliness of advice, tools, and techniques that they're privy to. And then you have a second group of individuals living off of their scraps. So by the time these best practices trickle down from the first group to the second group, they're not best practices anymore, or at least they have severely diminished returns, and members from the first group are off to something else. Now, unlike 400 years ago, where depending on the circumstances of your birth, your options were to eat the pig feet or starve, 2015 and beyond, there's no good reason anyone should be cooking up the equivalent of pig feet when it comes to digital marketing. The issue is that there's always this dichotomy between your knowledge and your resources. And the resources are upside down on purpose because a lot of times when you're talking about marketing budgets, oftentimes it seems that we don't have enough. Well, the good news is we are going to give you all the tools and knowledge that you need to be able to make some very smart marketing decisions. Now, before I go any further, I want to address this term, take it with a grain of salt, right? Because whenever someone offers you advice, you always say to take it with a grain of salt. Well, something that a lot of people don't actually say is that if you don't know what salt tastes like within the context of whatever you're talking about, a grain of salt or a mountain of salt is not going to do you much good because you don't have any point of reference. Does that make sense? It's kind of like if you've ever been camping and you got lost. What's the first thing you do? You figure out where north is, because with true north as your reference point, then you can figure out where south, east, west, and the other directions are. But a lot of small businesses languish when it comes to digital marketing because they're never able to establish what true north looks like for them. So by all means, take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt. However, we're also going to give you the context from which to distinguish the real from the fake. Add to that is that there's a lot of confusion and dissent within the industry about what is actually a best practice and what isn't. So in light of Facebook's diminished organic reach, dubbed reach apocalypse within the industry, you had some very smart marketers and big brands just ditch Facebook altogether because frankly they did not appreciate being baited and switched like that. And yet and still you have others who will tell you that even with Facebook's diminished reach, it is still God's country from a demographic and psychographic profiling standpoint, which it most certainly is. So my good friend and mentor Chika Kua has a saying that you cannot offer a critique without a corrective. because then you're just belly aching, right? And nobody likes a whiner. So for our purposes, if we don't want you serving up the equivalent of pig feet for digital marketing, what we do want you to partake in is pure honey. Now, in addition to just being delicious, pure honey in moderation is actually one of the most nutritious things that you can put inside your body, and there are several medicinal benefits. So what we're going to do right now is compare and contrast between pure honey digital marketing and pig feed. So pure honey, the good stuff, it is strategic, meaning it follows a plan. It's scientific, meaning you get calculable results, and it's statistical. So you have statistics from your marketing campaigns that can be measured and optimized. Pig feed digital marketing, on the other hand, we've all seen it. You just didn't know what to call it. It's mediocre. Absolutely nothing strategical about post social media or start a blog. It's messy. So because you are not following a plan, you're just tagging 150 people in the same Facebook post, just sloppy stuff. We've all seen it. And it's unmeasured. So you have absolutely no idea how efficient or effective your marketing efforts are. You're just sort of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. So now that we've defined our terms and tackled some of the ignorance associated with digital marketing, on to the next opponent, which is confusion. And let's debunk some of these digital marketing myths. So the first, and this is the biggest, is that digital marketing is free. Digital marketing is not free, not by a long shot. Why do you think Mark Zuckerberg pulled the slicky do he did with Facebook? Because they're a public company and they have to have a return for their investors. They need to make money. So yeah, in the early days, you can have a lot of good marketing for free, but them days are over. The second one, and I can certainly understand why a lot of people feel this way, is that Google Plus is the worst. Now, for those of you who don't know, Google Plus is Google's social media platform, rather. And so Google has certainly stripped away at Google Plus. They just recently decoupled it from YouTube and took away the local aspect of it. But it does not suck as a social media platform for the simple reason that it is still a part of the Google ecosystem. And yes, that has taken a hit. Google is picking away at it slowly but surely. But the fact of the matter is that as a part of the Google ecosystem, it has special advantages that other social media platforms just can't lay claim to. Namely, is that love Facebook. Facebook's great. Facebook is Vegas. What happens in Facebook stays in Facebook. It really doesn't reach outside of the platform itself like Google Plus can. Additionally, the way that the data is structured in Facebook versus Google Plus is exactly opposite. So the longer a piece of content is in Google Plus, the more likely it is to be found and you to get connected through it. This is exactly opposite of the way the data is structured inside of Facebook. The longer a piece of content is in Facebook, the less likely it is to be found and you to get connected through it. And so it just sort of, in Facebook, it just sort of goes down the feed and that's it. Whereas in Google Plus, I personally, as well as several case studies, I've posted stuff and I'm still getting likes and engagements and comments literally years later. And, I can't find stuff I put on Facebook days later, let alone years later. And then I want to tackle the whole social media myth in and of itself, because a lot of times when I tell people I'm an internet marketer, their knee-jerk reaction is, oh, you do social media. And social media in terms of digital marketing is the appetizer. It's not the main course. So you never want to take social media as like a standalone event. So there are some really popular social media myths. One is that if you build it, they will come. So you build out your social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all this other stuff, your blog. There is no guarantee anyone is ever going to see any of that stuff. If you want eyeballs on your content, you're going to have to pay for that. Another big one, start a blog and just blog, post away. It's not about quantity. It is about quality. Crap in, crap out. big myth. Social media is no good for B2B. That is a bold-faced lie. And I'm not just talking about LinkedIn either. I'm talking about Facebook and Twitter as well. The same people, right? Because it's B2B, there's no B2B. There's people to people, human to human. They are the same people that are on Facebook and they're looking for the same things. Another big one is that if you're not viral, it's not cool. So if you're not blending iPhones or blending rakes or jumping from the stratosphere like Red Bull, then that's somehow not cool. Social media is not about viral. Social media is about daily wins that compound over time. Twitter is just for big brands and celebrities who have millions of followers. Again, not quantity, quality. And social media will kill my business. So, I'll have some bad reviews and it'll just put me 6 feet under. And, that's certainly a possibility, but the best way to not get killed in social is to not run a crappy business. So some things that social media are good for is sales, customer service, intentional community building a tribe of like-minded people, crowdsourcing your products or services so you can host interviews and conferences with other people and co-create that content. A very good way of getting some eyeballs on your stuff. Display advertising, event promotion, again, influencer marketing, reaching out to influencers who can help co-brand your things. And of course, if you have limited resources. So social media and digital marketing in general, it's a lot cheaper than a Super Bowl ad, but you will take some investment. And so digital marketing is way beyond social media in general. Again, social media is the appetizer, not the main course, and it is integrated into a lot of moving parts. And it's fairly complex in today's digital marketing environment and getting more complex by the day. So please do not think that social media equals digital marketing, because it's far, far more than that. This is another big one that a lot of people need to take note of. So earlier in 2015, around April 2015, Google started using mobile friendliness as a ranking factor in its search algorithm. So in other words, that means if your site is not mobile friendly, Google is going to start demoting you. And where's the best place to hide a dead body? Page 2 of the search engine results, because no one's ever going to look there. So it really is quite imperative that if you have an older site that you make it what's called responsive. So responsive design is just a mobile plugin that's easily done on most WordPress sites or any other sites to where your website renders appropriately regardless of what type of screen it's being viewed on. That's a very big biggie that you really want to make note of, because if your site's not mobile friendly, you're headed for a loss. And so I know I just threw a lot of information at you in a very short time, but I hope that you can see that after this short presentation that the fog is starting to clear a little bit about some of your misconceptions or commonly held beliefs about digital marketing. Results are what we're all about, and they're very easy to achieve if you know what you're doing and you have the right roadmap and the right strategy. And so we invite you to come grow with us. Come check us out at digitalmarketingadvisors.com. We would love to give you a free consultation and maybe help you grow your business. And last but not least, we wrote a book about this very subject. It's called Beyond Buzzwords, foreword by none other than web marketing therapist Lori Thomas Ross. You can get that book at thinkbeyondbuzzwords.com. And our book tackles the ignorance and confusion surrounding digital marketing, just as Rich Dad Poor Dad did with personal finance. We gave you just a taste of that today. So go to thinkbeyondbuzzwords.com right now, get a copy, and we look forward to seeing you. Thanks so much for spending your time with us.